You went into the Chaz area too, right?
Yeah, so I'm from Capitol Hill, Seattle.
I was about to say that's where you're from, is Seattle.
Okay, so I grew up in Philly, in Fairmount, in North Philly, till I was 10. My dad was a big grunge fan, and he worked in the tech industry. So we moved out to Seattle.
Where else would he live?
Yeah, so
Seattle.
we moved to Capitol Hill.
Okay.
And that's like where Chaz was. So that corner, 10th and Pike, Cal Anderson Park, I grew up like in that neighborhood.
That's your area.
So I'm in Minneapolis, right, where the actual riots popped off, like by Lake Street on the south side, and I get a call, and someone says, "Yo, the cops just ran out of the precinct. They abandoned the precinct in Capitol Hill. You know, the cops just gave it to the protesters." I was like, "What?" And so there was a 4-block radius, initially called the Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone, and then became Capitol Hill Organized Protest. And I was actually there basically the entire time, living in a tent. However, the footage was never released.
Why not?
Because, bro, it was embarrassing. On some hometown shit, it was embarrassing.
It was bad.
Okay, so there was 3 phases. Phase 1 was like spirit of the revolution, like Fidel Castro, like the people will rise up. Phase 2 was like Burning Man. You have fools coming in on Greyhound buses from Northern California and Eugene. I call it the Republic of Islam. That's Southern Oregon, Northern California, where they're still slapping Max Dre like they just found out about it.
Taking ecstasy.
Yeah, so people are pulling up like, ooh. So fools are pulling up, like you have drum circles. People are setting up stages. They're doing dubstep sets. You know what I mean? And then the initials, Viva la Revolucion crowd is like, what the fuck? Fuck these wooks. They start beefing it. And then so they start kind of canceling each other for different shit.
Meanwhile, people are living there. Like they have their apartment right there.
And then week 3, the trappers, the hoods in Seattle, like in the South End and Tacoma, start figuring out that the cops aren't coming there. So they have all their fiends go from downtown and different areas to Capitol Hill, and then different gangs start taking control of different parts of the park. So it was Revolution Week, Wook Week, and then Gang Week. I'm there the whole time. My tent keeps getting stolen. And then so literally you had, bro, I'd never seen some shit like this in Seattle. By the basketball courts, kids, 15-year-old kids with shiesties and guns fucking bigger than their entire bodies. And this is a safe urban park in a gay neighborhood.
Right.
So I'm like, bro, this is insane. And so what happened, I literally remember there was a fatal shooting on the 4th of July. I was like right next to it. I thought it was fireworks because it was 4th of July.
Yeah.
Someone got killed right there. And this Antifa medic chick, like in full costume, comes running up and she goes, "There's a gang war happening at the park." And I'm like, I literally look at her, I go, "What gangs are fighting? Just say the name of one of the gangs. Since you're from Seattle, what are the gangs called?" And she's like, "I don't know." And so the moment after the fatal shooting happened, the next morning, all of the medics and all of the organizers and all of the wooks and all the revolutionaries, they leave. And the park just becomes like Amsterdam in The Wire. And then the cops at that point come in and shut it down.
Wow.
So I filmed the whole thing. I still have the footage. I'm thinking about putting it out.
Dude, honestly, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, it was crazy, but I was like, it was just a real like, God, Seattle took the L on that one.
You know what's so crazy is I feel like on like when we think about like, I think people who are extreme left and Antifa and all these people, and on the other side, the QAnon folks, I feel like everyone has they feel like they're doing the right thing. Like they have
everybody does.
They have like good intention in their heart.
Yeah. Right?
And I feel like there just has to be like, I don't know what it is. I think there just has to be like if everyone feels like they're doing the right thing, right? Like the White Lives Matter rally that opens up your film. It didn't feel like much of a rally, but your boy was out there with his flags, and then they ended up fucking him up.
Yeah, they fucked his ass up, bro.
He ends up getting arrested. Yeah. And do you feel like there's like just the option for like, I guess like positive discourse where people can just agree to disagree? Do you just think that shit's out the window, man?
The thing is, though, is like these groups, these vocal minorities get a lot of visibility because they make noise. But I think that a good like 70% of the country is on the same page as you and I. They see the shit from afar. They might react to a certain thing a certain way or slant, but most people are not Antifa or QAnon.
Right.
The difference is I feel like QAnon ideology has bled its way into the mainstream conservative right, whereas Antifa and these groups are still like a very marginalized left, and liberals reject their ideas.
For sure.
So I just think that like the actual left that Trump always talks about has no actual power over the liberals. Liberals don't give a fuck about unions. They're more concerned with like calling Trump supporters Nazis and white supremacists and throwing labels on people. So there is going to be a point where we can have discourse. But like I said, 2028's that year.
You know, there's just this, like you said, it's on the left, dude. Because I feel like I have conversations with like my cousin.
Yeah.
Like, this is another thing. I stopped talking to I was a part of this, like the left that stopped talking to people over Trump in 2016.
That was a real thing.
My cousin James, who's like my closest cousin in my life, voted for Trump, was vocal about it on Facebook, and I just stopped talking to him for like 2 years.
You guys are good now, though, right?
Yeah,
See, America is healing now.
No, but I felt terrible about it.
Yeah.
And I realized, like, dude, I was fucking tripping, bro. Like,
Yeah.
bro, like, I was one of the guys shaming people for not getting. I shamed this motherfucker for not getting vaccinated. Every fucking time we'd go, I'd be like, you're a spreader. Yeah, bro, that was me. And I just realized, like, dog, like, I'm a part of the side that's the most judgmental. Yeah. Which is crazy because the other side's supposed to be Nazis.
Yeah. I remember back in the day when COVID first popped off in Seattle, you could be getting you could be having a picnic in a park, just you and two people. If you spread a blanket out and somebody took their mask off for a second, you'd have somebody in the cut with an N95 on like this. They'd take a picture of you, they'll put it online, find your at, they're like, what's this person's at? Super spreader, complicit in the genocide of those who are disabled. And complicit in the genocide of the immune compromised, and they would lose their job, they would lose everything. I saw this shit happening in real time, dog.
So sad, dude.
Bro, I remember when COVID popped off. I told you I was in Seattle, and I was like, I gotta go somewhere more hippied out, because I'm like, I gotta see somebody. So I went down to Eureka, California, and I stayed with my homegirl, and she told me, she was like, listen, I don't care about this COVID shit, or I do care, but if I see you in public with somebody and they take a picture of you or they see you with somebody else, I'm gonna get in trouble. Okay, what do you mean trouble? She was like, I could lose my job.
It was the same thing that was, I mean, in Australia, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Like, people were like going to jail. Like, that's my thing, is like, you know, I just feel like I just feel like we stopped questioning shit for a while there, where it was like, hey, like, is it a little weird that there's a ticker on the screen on CNN with the death total going up like it's a fucking basketball game?
Yeah.
Like, what is, like, and everybody was like, fuck, and I'm over here buying gloves and shit, and fucking, I got so much sanitizer left over from COVID, it's crazy in my garage. I'm like, yo, we gotta have more sand.
Yeah, I was sort of tweaked out too, you know? It was just a crazy time, and I feel like we're still kind of living in the shadow of 2020.
For sure. And then now you look back and you're like, okay, well, you know, I know I dealt with this because I had two sons who, you know, my kid was 14 and was like dealing with depression because he was just stuck at home. And the people who lost their businesses, especially here in California, you know, there's like restaurants that were losing their businesses while there was like catering on movie sets and shit. And it was like make it make sense, you know, like,
yeah. And Walmart was open though, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Dispensaries were open.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, dispensaries were open. They never closed down dispensaries here, which was interesting. But yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel like, you know, like you said, man, like, this is what we get. Yeah. We get Trump again.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
definitely.
Like, all that crazy shit, this is what you get.
We earned this shit.
We earned it. We fucking earned it, man.